Okay, so getting back to what we were saying, the marginalized education communities are those communities who do not have access to the good quality education. They might be able to afford it, but they do not have the access, and they can cover their own basic needs. This is a very important point, because when we went underground and we decided to talk to them, to find them, where are those people who are in need, we realized that there are two categories. One are the underprivileged, who do not have their basic needs, and they cannot afford the good quality education. And those are the marginalized who can have and they can afford the good quality education, and they can cover their basic needs, but they do not have access to it. So we were just taking our baby steps. So we went for the marginalized communities to start with and prototype our work. Okay, now we have another question. Okay, so at the foundation, we decided to partner with USAID entity called SEED, and we chose a governorate that is very poor. It is called Sohag. It is one of the poorest governorates here in Egypt. We went there and we started to discover what are the needs of the marginalized communities there. And we decided on something. After we discovered the school system in Egypt we have three main types: the public schools, private schools, and international schools. But we realized that the private schools and the international schools are supposed to give better quality education. But the private schools, what did they do? They are just modeled in a shape or a frame of a private schools, but the quality of education is just the quality of a public school. Teachers are lecturing, there are no activities, children are not that good on the academic level. So we decided to target this community. Another question that will take time. Sorry, we're going to skip it. And we designed the gamified learning experience, tackling those three main topics: design thinking, digital fabrication, entrepreneurship. We took the children on a journey just like the one I'm supposed to taking you here now, that they should see the challenges in their community using design thinking, as they are the ones who are helping saving the human race and discovering the challenges in planet Eden. And then they devise tools, they fabricate tools using the digital fabrication technology. And those tools are used as prototypes, and they use it to pitch their ideas and their business model canvas when they learn about entrepreneurship in the last topic. This is what happened. Another question that we're going to skip. So we started with 30 students who are enrolled in preparatory and secondary stage, with 6 teachers who we targeted as facilitators, so that we would teach them how to deal with children and how to use gamification and instructional design inside their classes to make it interactive. And the program lasted almost for 2 months. We took them on our journey. Okay, and this is one of the tools that we used during the program to just help them get motivated and engage through the program and stick to the rules and influence some behavior changes. So this is called the reward card. And what we did is that we used 2 types of cards during the program, reward card and consequences cards. We put the rules at the first of the program, and then by time, whenever one of us broke the rules, even if it is one of the facilitators, we just go and grab a card and see what is the consequence of what I've done. If I've done a great thing, I just go and grab a card from the stack of the rewards cards and see how I should be rewarded. Children used to get a daily video message from Earth, as they are on Eden, of course, to just tell them about feedback about the day before and tell them the tasks about today and what they should do. Actually, we saw a huge level of engagement and huge change in their behaviors. The result of the program was that the students came up with role plays they came up with mobile application prototypes. They came up with solutions for the energy consumption problems, solutions problems, solutions about recycling. Each team made their own business model canvas, and they pitched it to the last judges, to the last panel in the program. We observed a huge change in their behaviors. Some students did not want to be involved in a team. They were not team players. Some students were not could not be leaders. They had problems in their communication skills. By the end of the program, we observed that there are huge changes in their behaviors. Those who did not want to be team players, they became a very good team players. Those who did not know how to be leaders, they led their teams and supported those who did not want to participate, and they made good teams. Actually, the children, they made those reflections themselves. They started talking about the change they feel in their attitudes and their behavior. Children they were blended with the community. They went in the community, they talked to people, they made interviews. It was amazing how their behaviors were changed. And the most amazing thing is the effect which was left on the teachers themselves, who were selected to be facilitators with us and to help us. They saw another perspective of education. They've seen how to help the children and guide them, and not just spoon feed them, how to be supportive for them. That was amazing, and it was experience for me. Those are some of the photos we had. Those are the children here. They were working on the recycling projects in one of our fabrication laboratories in Sohag. And here are the children pitching their projects. And this thing down there on the right, it's like a leather product which was made by the children on the laser cutter machine that we have in our laboratory. Another question that we're going to skip. Okay, so as I told you, at Giza, we're working on mainly 3 beneficiaries: marginalized, underprivileged children, the underprivileged women, and people with disabilities. And after this experience, we're so motivated to go further with the underprivileged children as we started this experience with the marginalized, and actually working on it. But of course, we could not like do another run for the same program because of the COVID, of course. But what we're doing is that we're transforming the experience to be a virtual experience, which is turning to be amazing, actually. And we're starting new programs very soon, working with the underprivileged children and underprivileged women. It is actually amazing the impact we can leave when we take our knowledge and our experience and go to those who are in need. Okay, so I am here today to show this experience and to get your feedback and see what you think of it. And the other thing is that I really believe that those underprivileged and marginalized communities, they need to be, and we need to realize that we need to extend our impact to them, because they have amazing skills and they have amazing talents. With some basic tools, they do a great job. And finally, I really believe that no matter how underprivileged someone is, again, can always arouse their curiosity to learn. Now I'm ready to take your questions and feedback, of course.
Okay, so we are now opening up for feedback for Norhan, who had some small connection issues, but she was back. Now I think we cannot see you, but I think we can hear you. Are you still there, Norhan?
Yeah, you cannot see me.
Yeah, you're having connection issues on this, and the software automatically privileges sound so that we can still hear you, even though we might not be able to see you. So that's fine. That's okay. So Norhan, the first question comes from Charlotte. Mayor Dirk. I hope that was, I always make a good effort, at least with the names. I hope that is recognized. So she says that she loves the concept, and she's asking, how did the students actually access the game? Did they use their own phones, school computers? And there is a follow-up question. Thank you, Charlotte. If there was a lack of IT equipment, if that was a problem at all in your case. So again, did they use their own phones? How did they connect to the game? And if there was a problem with a lack of equipment or not in your case?
Actually, this was an offline experience. It was before the COVID strike. So we worked with the children face to face. It was an amazing experience, actually, because we could feel the human touch. It was amazing. Actually, now we're working on the digitizing it and moving into a virtual experience. Yes, we do have a problem with the computers because those communities do not have access to technology, as I mentioned before. But we're trying to work on it to find sponsors to provide us with the computers or maybe smartphones and stuff like that to help us with the virtual experience.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds. I'm seeing some digital claps. Gabor, Josephine, Gizem, Lena, Jimon. So I think they're basically congratulating you from what you're doing, and I think that it sounds very, very interesting. See if we have something more in the Q&A. Eric is saying that he loved the talk. Eric Audelo. Hi, Eric, by the way. He's asking if there was a specific case of a student that turned around in their acceptance of games in education. Do you have an answer for that, Norhan?
Well, the children actually were very accepting the idea, if you can say that. Actually, the challenge we faced was with the teachers that we asked them to help us as facilitators. Because the teachers, they are old school and they think that games are not supposed to be in education. This we're teaching. There's no place for education. But at the end of the program, when they saw the influence and the impact on the children's behavior change and the knowledge level, they were like a 13-year-old girl who was pitching her business model canvas. So this is a huge change. And how they went into the community and they talked to people and they discovered the challenges and tried to solve it. It changed a lot their mindset, and actually that pushed us to start working with them. That's why we're working now on a program to teach to educate teachers or help them how to design the learning experience in an interactive way, either virtually or offline.
That sounds amazing. Sounds fantastic. I have a kudos from Arek as well, one of the previous presenters, saying he always admires anyone brave enough to try such a thing live on a conference software. So, on a new conference software. So, but he's also happy for the fact that we got a taste of the software, and he's giving you kudos for your work.
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to, Norhan, if that's okay. From that specific case that you were mentioning, is there any, because you told us that this is sort of the general perception of games for teachers was changed. I do like, they say, statistics are important, but they don't tell us a personal story. So if you can give us a personal story, you don't have to, of course, say any names. I think it would be very helpful for the audience to understand that impact. Is there this professor called Rob who changed? He didn't like games at all, and he changed his perception and is now into your side.
Yeah, actually, we started. Actually, there was one professor who was always talking to me about the story, and that it's fantasy. And it's just taking the children out of reality, and I should just put them in reality and in their communities and their challenges. He was against the story and the narrative, but at the end of the program, he was one of the teachers who asked actually for a training, and he asked for our help, especially after the COVID strike, because he realized that he really needs help.
Yes. After the COVID, so many things have changed. I think the disruption has brought good and bad, of course. Some people have had some terrible experiences, but I do think it has brought in some necessary change to many places. Now we also have Tamir. Tamir is asking, Tamir, hi Tamir. You said you were from pharma and you went into gamification and education. Do you have any plans on getting into gamified pharma professionals into education?
Currently I'm focused on the underprivileged communities, but actually I like games in general, and I like designing games, so I could go for it just for the experience.
Absolutely.